Hey guys, I'm Alessandra Fischer. I present and produce A Hora da Poetisa. Today I'm in Lowell Mill, number 5, and I'm here to talk to Jerry Bisantz. And he's a playwright, a singer, an actor, an artist. We're gonna learn more about his projects. Very nice to meet you here.
Hello, Alessandra.
Hi.
It's good to see you. When you're not on stage, even. And I was shocked when I ran into you at the LTC.
Yeah.
I says, "Oh my God, there she is!"
You realize that you want to be an actor because you're so many things. So, when was the first time that?
It's a funny story. I was a junior in high school, and I ran track and cross country, and I never acted on stage in my life. And we had this crazy hippie woman who was a teacher. Her name was Diane English. And I'll get back to this. She's a pretty important person. I'll get back to that in a moment. But she taught for 1 year at my school. 1 year is all before she headed off for big things, okay? And she said, "Doesn't this school do a school show, school play?" And they said no. And she said, "Well, we're going to do a school play." So she got the musical director, the band person, and the chorus person together, and they did a really silly musical called Little Abner. And they put up audition notices. Auditions, Little Abner, you know? And I was walking down the halls with my buddy Jimmy, and I says, "You want to do this?" He says, "I'll do it if you do it." So we dared each other. And I'll never forget, the audition was hilarious because Mr. Dorsey, the chorus teacher, taught us all the same song. Jubilee corn pone, all that, you know, stupid song, right? But we all learned the same song. And every one of us had to get up on stage by ourselves and sing this stupid song. I get up on the stage and I belt it out, and all of a sudden I just felt comfortable. And I got cast in the lead. I wasn't Little Abner, I was Mary and Sam, the Preacher Man, which is a better role anyway. And it turns out that that woman who hooked me on theater went on to produce Murphy Brown, one of the most successful TV shows of all time, and Diane English. Mm-hmm. And because of her, I fell in love with theater. And so I did theater wherever I went. And here's the cool thing about theater, and this is to anybody out there who's thinking of doing theater, want to do theater. When you do a show, instant friends. You meet people. I met my wife. I mean, you meet some of my best friends. I mean, I moved into Boston in 1976. I didn't have a job, and I didn't know anybody. And I got in a show, and it all took off from there. You meet people when you do theater. And you go out for a drink after rehearsal, or you get to know them, and whatever, you know. I can't begin to tell you how many shows I've directed where people have met and fallen in love and married. I think I'm directly responsible for about 8 or 9 marriages because they've met doing shows that I directed, you know. And so it's a great way. It also, the biggest problem in society that I see is this. This is the dumbest thing ever made, okay? This thing will kill you. It will kill you, okay? All I see is this.
Yeah.
And I see young people who can't look you in the eye and talk.
That's right.
Okay? Okay? It's a problem. 2 days ago, I'm walking my dog. I got the greatest dog in the world, right? My dog loves everybody, right? 3 kids sitting on a bench. They're maybe 10 years old. All of them going like this. Mm-hmm. My dog walks up, rests right on, and wanted to be pet. You know what these kids did? Nothing. They didn't even look up from their cell phone. You lost a chance to pet the greatest dog in America. And I said, "You are pathetic." And you know what they did? They shrugged and they looked down at their cell phones. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sad and pathetic. Get away from these. Get on stage. Write a poem. Tell a story. Meet people. You know? That's the only way that you're going to succeed in life. Doing what you're doing. Interviewing people. You know? Both my kids took theater, and they're both incredibly successful in their lives. Unbelievably so. You know, they're doing great. And it's because they could stand there, look people in the eye, and talk to them. And it's just such a shame to see what's happening to this society.
Connection, right? We need that. Like, we learn from each other, interacting with each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. Human beings want to be with each other. They want to talk to each other. They want to relate to each other. They want to learn from each other. They want to, I'd love to learn more about, you know, Brazil and where you're from and who are your people, your experiences. I mean, you're from a different culture. I'd love to find these things out. I'm not going to find these things out if I spend 24/7 looking at 20-second pictures, you know? Yeah.
I'm very interested to know how you write a lot. So when you sit down, you have a ritual, like, I'm going to write today, or it's something that, you know.
I really admire people like Stephen King. Mm-hmm. Stephen King writes for 5 hours every day, except 2 days a week. Mm-hmm. He literally writes for 5 hours, and then he goes off and, you know, I can't do that. I have to have something inside me that's screaming to come out. And then I've written 5 full-length plays, 3 screenplays. I can't even begin to tell you how many 10-minute plays, and, you know, and a lot of essays. I don't remember the act of writing them. Mm-hmm. I don't remember actually sitting down and writing. I look at them now and I go like, wow, I wrote that? That's kind of cool. But I don't remember, you know, it's one thing, one writer once said that the best thing about writing is when you're done. When you look at what you wrote and you say, you know, so, but we had a group that at one point, and I used to be I was vice president of a group that's still around today, but it's in Boston. It's a long commute for me sometimes, called Playwright's Platform. And Playwright's Platform is the oldest established group in America that helps playwrights take their plays from the page to the stage. Yeah. So they write a play, and we get actors, and the actors read it, and then we criticize. We say, you know, we help them. Mm-hmm. We say, you know, this character doesn't do anything, cut this character. Or this scene was unnecessary or would be better in Act 1. We help them with their plays. Mm-hmm. So when you write a play, it requires many rewrites. Andrew Wetmore helped me a lot on the straight line, on my Western that I wrote. He was very helpful. He helped me streamline it. He helped with the dialogue. And a lot of times when you get up there, when you direct a play, if it's a play that I've written, the actors come up with great ideas sometimes. And I'll say, you know what, that line works better, you know, and I change it, you know, right there. So I think that if you have something to say that really is dying to come out, write it down. Write it down. Or talk into your... I do this a lot. I'll go into this, I'll come up with an idea, I'll pull my car over to the side of the road, and I'll record the idea that I had. And I'll come home and that'll be the basis of the next thing that I'm going to write.
What about driving? That I always, when I'm driving, those ideas come to me like, man, I'm driving now.
Well, that's when this is helpful. I'm not saying that this thing is not helpful.
Yes.
And it helps me to learn lines too. I had a couple of TV auditions lately for TV commercials, and what I do is I'll speak into this and record all my dialogue. So when I'm driving to work, that's how I memorize my lines. I think one of the biggest problems today is a lack of attention span. Mm-hmm. People don't seem. I was even talking to Sal Baglio, the musician. He says a lot of the young people he talks to today, they can't even sit still for an entire song. They want to swipe to the right and listen to another song. I mean, imagine that. I mean, they can't read an entire book. They don't have the attention span. So it's hard for them, and a lot of them many people have never been to live theater in their life. I mean, I've sometimes been in front of an audience and said, tell me the last time you saw a play. No hands go up. I showed my movie, Memories for Sale, at MCC, at a media class that was taught by Nancy Tuttle. And just before I left the class, I said, listen, you guys are media, you're studying to do filmmaking or screenwriting and stuff like that. How many of you have been to a play, a live theater play, in the last 2 years? One hand went up. Mm-hmm. One hand. And they saw Blue Man Group. Yeah. And Blue Man Group is not, it's a different kind of theater. Mm-hmm. Blue Man Group is kind of an arty, very funny, very clever, but none of them had seen a play or a musical in their lives. This is terrible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You know? Go to the theater.
The experience is totally different.
Yes, and every time you do it, it's a different show. Yeah. Depending on the audience. There's a real give and take with the audience. You know what I mean? That's the wonder of live theater.
Yes.
And sometimes things happen. I was on stage one time and someone was supposed to make an entrance and they didn't show up. I'm on stage by myself. All by myself. I had to make up stuff to say for a minute. You know what a full minute is on stage? I just made stuff up in character. Yes. And the person was so embarrassed. You could see she was actually blushing through her makeup. She was so embarrassed. And I just acted like, hey, no problem. You know, but things happen on stage. Scenery falls. Someone drops a glass.
Tell me something that was very like this one, but very funny that happened on stage.
To me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I was in Anything Goes, the musical Anything Goes, at MIT, at the Loeb Drama Center, which is a beautiful space. And we had a phone. I had a scene where I picked up an old-fashioned phone. And closing night, because they're MIT, they're engineers, they rigged the phone up to actually work. And I picked up the phone and said hello and started doing my lines. And they said, Jerry, your zipper's open. Everybody's looking at your crotch right now. I'm like, oh my God. And another time, I was on stage. I was in Greece. I played Danny Zuko in Greece, okay? You ever seen Greece? You know, summer loving, give it play. Well, I had the scene in the car with Sandy. So I was in the car, I'm singing the song, you know, the drive-in movie song. And I look past Sandy, and off stage, all four guys showed me their bare butts. I'm looking at four bare butts, and I'm trying to hold it together. So that's the kind of little tricks that actors play on each other sometimes, and you in the audience never see these things, but it happens. I got off stage. Yeah, and so like I said, you know, live theater, it's just something about it. It's some of the greatest plays of all time. I mean, Death of a Salesman. You know, I mean, just amazing works by David Mamet or you know, I mean, you know, there's I can't even begin to tell you how many wonderful plays there are out there, or musicals. Look at Hair or Into the. Did you see Into the Heights? In the Heights.
Yes.
Look at In the Heights. Hamilton. Rent is a blast. Pippin, Godspell. I mean, great stuff that kids would love if they were turned. They should get turned on to the theater.
Yes.
Your audience should see In the Heights. They would love it.
Yeah. One thing that I'm very passionate about that it's having kids to create their own plays.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they put the voice, their stories into they're learning about playmaking. So I saw
Playwright, yes.
Yeah, like
who was your teacher?
Bethany Nelson.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was amazing to see. They had like collaboration with the high school.
Yes.
And college, so she would do that with them, and I saw how powerful theater can be. You know, with those kids that would not have access to go see a play normally because where they are.
Yes, and it to see again to me, for them to write a play that has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yes.
Okay, and to watch actors on stage, saying the things that they wrote. Hopefully, they can carry that on. And here's the thing about theater, and it doesn't matter. And if you did one show or two or three or four, a buddy of mine did a speech one time, and he's an older man, and he was retired, and he died 2 years later. But he did a speech, and he called it his Golden Nugget speech. And he talked about it. I had the honor of playing Don Quixote in Mancha and singing that beautiful song, Impossible Dream, in front of 500 people every night. I mean, it was just, what a thrill. And he mentioned that, and he said, even if you never go on stage again, it's a golden nugget that you can put in your pocket. And you can take it out every once in a while, and you can polish it up and look at it and know that you were on stage and you had that moment, and you got the applause from the audience, and you felt what it was like to be on stage, or to write that play, or direct that play, or work backstage and make things happen, or create the scenery, or do the lighting and learn how to light things properly. All of this stuff is creative. And all of it takes them away from this piece of crap. Yeah. And that's what we have to do. Or we are going to have a society of idiots, absolute morons who can't think for themselves. I'm sorry, I know I'm an old guy, and if it bothers people, that's what I think. And that's the only way. We have to get people involved, and we got to get young people involved in creating stuff, and good for you that you work with these kids and got them writing their own plays and their own monologues, or doing their own. Poetry is exploding in the area. I just did the Town and the City Festival. I did a storytelling. The storytelling is getting very big right now. So you stand on stage and you got 10 minutes and you tell a story, and in front of an audience. And all of these things are wonderful.
Yes. Yes, there are many ways. I worked here also during Emerson, which I graduated in 2016, so it's kind of like a while back. But I had the opportunity to work with Girls Inc.
Oh, Girls Inc. Wonderful. Yeah. And
also UTech, and also Low Pretty Health Center. They have a group of youth there. I love working there. Yeah. So they gave me the space where I was doing, it was wonderful, but it was just like for a semester. So yeah, it's amazing. I really love, unfortunately, until they do it, they don't have the experience to know how great it can be for themselves.
They were a little nervous at first,
yeah.
and it takes some doing. I'm not really, kids are not my game. My wife is really good with kids. She had a children's theater group in Groton, Mass. that she was artistic director of. What she does with kids blows my mind. I mean, I've seen productions of hers. I saw a production of Our Town done by 15-year-olds that brought me to tears. It was so beautiful. So working with kids is a real skill. But if you can hook them at a young age, there's a lot of hope for the American theater. But I'm afraid that with video, with the short, everything's short and quick.
Yeah.
Even the films we make today. Watch a movie count to yourself how many times the camera changes to a different picture. Just try that sometime when you watch any movie today. Now, Moulin Rouge made me sick to my stomach because he showed a new image every 2 seconds. I actually got seasick watching that. And I love the movie, don't get me wrong. But today's filmmakers feel that you and I are stupid. No, they think that we're stupid and we can't focus on any one thing for a long time. I recently saw a movie and that I highly recommend to everybody. It's called The Last Picture Show. It was made many years ago. It's black and white. It's done on black and white on purpose. It's about this small town in the Midwest during almost like it's the Dust Bowl. And there's a final scene in there with Cloris Leachman. The camera remains on her face for 35 to 40 seconds. And what she goes through in that 35 to 40 seconds. She goes from totally detesting this young man who left her hanging, she was in love with this guy, to breaking down and falling back in love with him and forgiving him. And it's all in the face. And not a word is spoken. And no one today, no filmmakers today they don't dare to do a close-up like that anymore. They're all afraid of it. They're all afraid to show us real human emotion in the face. And that's why when we did my movie, Memories for Sale, I told the director, I want you to focus on the person's face and not always on the person doing the talking. I want to focus, you're listening right now, and you're very active as you listen. People don't realize that listening is an active thing. You know, it's not like I say a line, now I say a line. No. Listening is an active thing. And sometimes if the camera focuses on the listener, an over the camera shot is more effective than showing the person doing the talking. You know, but today's filmmakers, I'm watching so many movies, everything's blowing up, superheroes up the wazoo. And, you know, and Chris Evans, you know Chris Evans plays Captain America?
Yes.
Okay, Chris Evans was in 2 plays of mine, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, when he was in 2 plays of mine. Okay, he was original Sunday Visitors. He was in Sunday Visitors, the original version of it. A very nice man. His mother, Lisa Evans, runs Concord Youth Theatre.
Okay.
And actually, Chris would probably get mad at me. The sister, the sister Carly.
Yes.
I think she's the most talented Evans.
Wow.
Carly Evans could sing the phone book and make you cry.
Wow.
She's an amazing singer. What a performer. But you know, again, with all due respect to Chris, he even knows that, you know, he wants to take on media roles, or he wants to start directing, because he knows that, you know, running around in tights and saving the world and throwing shields at people, it makes a lot of money and sells a lot of tickets. But I have had it with people with a lot of blood and people exploding and things flying around. I'm done. I am done with this crap, man. I want to see a real movie about real people that I care about.
And I love the films. Memory for Sale, it's one of the things.
Yes, Memories for Sale, and has done well. It's been seen. It's based on a play that I wrote, and it's been seen all over the world. Actually, an old girlfriend of mine in London got in touch with me and said, "Jerry, I'm going to see you. I'm going to see you at the movies."
So what's next for you?
So I got a couple things going on. I have a TV series that I wrote that I've been pushing that I can't get anybody. I've been working on it. I don't have an agent. If I had an agent, it's about 4 women in their 60s, and it's called Second Time Around. And these women are exciting women. They're fun. They're in all different times of their life, and they're best friends. And it's set in Rockport, Massachusetts. And I think women in their 60s, it's a very interesting time for women. Many are divorced, or many are starting over a second life. They're not dead yet, you know? And I so far I haven't seen anything really aimed at them that isn't just silly, you know?
That's right.
I It's called Second Time Around. I wrote it with a woman because I wrote most of the script, and then I put it through her feminizer. She said, "Jerry, a woman wouldn't say this." And I said, "Okay." You know, she helped me a lot with the script. But we've got an entire first season all written out. So, you know, we try. We're doing the Latino Film Festival, and I'm hoping that something can grow from that. And if Michelle Rivera would, if I can help her out in turning this new space at 74 Middlesex Street in Lowell, turning this into a real performance space, possibly we can get maybe a Latino stage company or a group of people writing scripts, short works. I'd be more than happy to help direct and help them out, because I believe that there's a huge Latino community here in Lowell, Haverhill, Lawrence, Chelsea, and I don't think they're being served properly. And I think that that's an underrepresented group of people that have incredible amounts of talent that should have a chance. to be heard, you know? Yeah, so I'd love to have
you do a lot. You do acting, writing,
Mhm.
directing,
Yes.
singing. You're
Yes, I sing
very,
too,
very
yeah.
talented. And dancing, I saw you dancing.
Oh gosh, no, I'm not. My wife would laugh at that. She's a choreographer. My dancing days are done, man.
And I just want to thank you for the opportunity. I think it was 2005 that I went to UMass Lowell,
Mhm.
and I went there, and I was like, I barely spoke at the time English, and I told you when I got
Mhm.
there, I said, I want to audition, but my English is not as good, you know, and you encouraged me, and I did it, and you gave me a part, so to me, it meant a lot.
She stole the show. She stole the show. She did. She was fabulous. Yeah.
And I was so grateful for that, because to me, it took a lot for me to go, you know.
It was a
and
very funny
school.
play, and you were
Yes.
really good in it. Three
And I love
character play. She sat on a park bench and
Yes.
couldn't take your eyes off her. It was fabulous. Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, I just wanna share you what the community that maybe are not aware of what you do, the Brazilians.
All right.
Thanks, and thank you so much for sharing a lot. I enjoy.
Well, this is a pleasure for me. I didn't see you in so many years, you know. I got to let Andy Wetmore know that I ran into you again.
Yes.
So I'm glad you're back at home and
Yes.
making things happen.
Much, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this has been a pleasure. So.
Hear it one more time.
I know what I have to do.
Him, and it's in the bag.
In the bag, can you see how nervous I am with him coming in here? He's a living legend.
Ta-da!